Hello, people. How you doing? My name is Lee Cole, and I'm with my partner James Proctor. James, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Lee. How are you doing?
Very fine. Still in. I'm in a secret location on the road. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right. Very
Okay.
good.
But there's something we want to talk about, and that's Sammy Gravano and Ruggiano. Ruggiano has really doubled down on this relationship with Sammy Gravano, right? Would you say that's correct?
Yes. Yeah, he has. Two things have happened in the last few days. One, he put up a video where he talks about, well, defending himself for going on with Sammy. And then he also says that he doesn't need to defend himself to those that disagree with him, but at the same time, he's defending himself. And then the second thing is that he did something very interesting, and it's not a bad thing, but he actually released the whole video of the interview with Sammy Gravano, and so it was on Ruggiano's page, not Sammy's.
Now, see, he had a falling out with Dominic Chicali. It seems like he's listening to what Dominic Chicali's saying, and do you think he's being spiteful to Dominic Chicali by letting Ruggiano did what he did not allow Dominic Chicali to do?
Yeah, so there's two things. One is that Dominic Shikali had that interview with Sammy, and the agreement was is that interview would be out on YouTube, and that never happened. So Sammy went ahead and put the interview 8 months later on his paywall, which is the Our Thing TV. And so, Sammy's got 150 subscribers on that, and then he's got a subscription base of what 560,000 on YouTube. And so he doesn't release the video on YouTube. And so now what's interesting is that you've got Ruggiano that again, when you look at the title of it, it's going to be exactly it's going to be the table in the back. So it's never going to be put out on YouTube either. So Ruggiano actually put it himself on his own channel yesterday, and so it's two parts. So part one's 56 minutes, and there'll be a second part.
Well, here's what I can't understand. Okay,
Hmm.
so Ruggiano has made his living off John Gotti all this time. His show's been based
Yes.
on John Gotti. I'm going to give you an
Hmm.
example. This is our number one, actually our number two video. It has like 50,000 views, and Ruggiano has two videos with us that are very high. One's got 70,000. But I want to play this.
Yeah.
This is Ruggiano, how he's built his channel. He's built his channel of John Gotti, John
Hmm.
Gotti's name, and now he wants to have his cake and eat it too, and go build his name off the man that betrayed John Gotti, and that would be
Right.
Sammy Gravano. So let's play this real quick.
And the day I went to turn myself in, I went to get a haircut. I don't know why. I was a kid. I was 23 years old, and in this place called Father and Son. And who walked in to get a haircut? John Gotti and Angelo Quackrock walked in, and here I am sitting there. And John says to me, "What are you doing? Don't you got to turn yourself in today?" I said, "Yeah, this afternoon." He goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm getting a hair." He goes, "Get out of here and go home to your wife. What are you, crazy, getting a haircut?" And they were laughing. He paid for my haircut. But he was always, a lot of respect for my father. And I think he always liked the fact that I was a convict. I think he always liked the fact that even though I was Fat Andy's son, I was getting pinched. I was in the street. I was working in crap games that he would come to. I was writing numbers. Like I was in the mix. I was in the street. Right. And I think he liked on that case that they had that.
Okay, so in the beginning, when his channel came out, it was all about John Gotti. It was about my relationship with John Gotti. He told a lot
Right.
of stories about his relationship with John Gotti. A lot of people came back to us and told us those stories were not true, that he was
Right.
just using John Gotti's name.
Hmm.
That when he was in the street, yes, he was Fat Andy's son. Uh, Fat Andy is royalty.
Hmm.
Is his son royalty, James?
No, I wouldn't say that. He wasn't ever made. I mean, he like you said, he did some stuff on the street, but it was very minor. Unfortunately, most of that life. That was before he got off drugs, and so he struggled. Thank God he did turn his life around. He doesn't do drugs. He helps people, but in that life, it was kind of a bad time for him.
Okay, and this is what confuses me about these guys. Okay, so now you got right here, you have, look at this. So the number one adversary on here of Sammy Gravano is Mikey
Mikey
Scars.
Scars.
He sits down with Mikey Scars. Has Ruggiano sat down with Chicali also?
Um, I don't know if Ruggiano has done that or not, but I don't know.
Okay, well, it seems like Ruggiano's basically said to everybody, well, screw John Gotti, screw Mikey Scars, and screw Dominic Chicali. I am going to go with Sammy because these guys, all the Gotti family has issues with Sammy, major issues for Mikey Scars with Sammy. Chicali has gone all out on Sammy, and Ruggiano seems to say, okay, I want to be your friends, guys, but I also want to be Sammy's friend.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what was interesting is so we put up a couple of shorts. One's not up yet, but we did put one up, and so that's where Ruggiano is actually defending why he did it. He's saying, "Well, I'm friends with both John Gotti and Sammy Gravano, and whatever problems they had was between Sammy and John." And so, I think that's a little naive. And then the second video, he's talking about where he's saying, well, I'm doing it to build up my channel. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to get Reformed Gangsters, name of the show, out there. And, if I could go on Sammy's show and Michael Francese's show, I'm going to do that because it's going to help the channel. And so, that's where he's coming from. But, again, he had made all of this up until, last month. His whole his what we knew of him was his relationship or perceived relationship he had with John Gotti, and also about his father. I mean, his father. Yeah, I mean,
His
his
father.
father.
I mean,
Just
he's trying to make it sound like that his father loved Sammy Gravano, which is false. Not even back then.
they didn't know
But
each
let's
other that much, to be honest.
and this is this thing when they go into the meeting, you could tell that Sammy Gravano's only met him once or twice in his life, just by the way
Right,
Sammy's
exactly.
talking to him. But they make it
Hmm.
sound like that they're old buddies back together again. But that's not that's not the real deal about this, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, I'm going to play this right here. One
How
second.
could he go see Sammy? And how I could go see Sammy is Sammy was my friend too. Sammy was my friend too back then. I mean, my relationship.
Okay, Sammy wasn't your friend back then, okay? Because when you were back then, you were about 15 years younger than Sammy when he
Right,
was on the street. You were just a kid. Sammy wouldn't
right,
give you the time of day on the street. So this is
right,
false.
right.
I mean, there's no evidence that they knew each other on the street, is there?
No, there's not. And then, in fact, in the interview that he did that was published yesterday, Sammy couldn't remember when he first met Anthony, because Anthony said, "Oh, yeah, that he came in to the I guess it was probably the Raven night, and that he saw Sammy. I guess it was around the time that Sammy and John got pinched, and said, and then Sammy said, "Oh yeah, that's when you and your father came in, right?" And then he said, "No, no, I met you a long time ago when I was a young kid, and my father, so his father ran around with John Gotti, ran around with that Queen side of the family. He didn't really." He wasn't around
Nobody
the
was
big
hanging out with nobody was hanging out with Junior Ruggiero Junior back then. When you really think about it,
yeah,
it's just
right,
Ruggiano.
Ruggiano
I'm sorry.
Jr. No,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, uh, so Ruggiano was running around supposedly now with all these guys. During this video, he even talked about going through the back door of the Copacabana and stuff, just like the
yeah,
movie. And he described it. He goes, "When I seen the movie, I was there thinking to myself, that's how I used to go through the back door. I'm not uh, that they treated me the same way. Why? You were addicted to drugs. The family
Yeah.
didn't want nothing to do with you. So you're not telling the truth. This is not true.
Yeah.
This is another one of these
Yeah.
guys that get on here
Yeah. It might have been with
with these
his dad or
fallacies.
someone else. Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
But he said
Yeah,
that
he's there
him
for a Tom
he
Jones
walked
concert.
Tom Jones concert. And he walked through the back door, and he's describing it just like the movie. And you know,
Goodfellas. Yeah.
how many guys have we heard on this these ex these informants that were ex gangsters? They're not gangsters anymore. They're informants. How many times have we heard this story where they describe a movie to describe their life?
Well, I think more people came in through the back door in the kitchen of the Copacabana than went through the front door. As
Yeah,
much as
yeah.
we hear
No one
this.
paid. They all went through the back door, and
Yeah.
so Cabana, you have so many guys in there from the life, and none of them are paying. They're just walking
Yeah.
through the back door and sitting wherever they want. These movies, these guys that think about the movies. Was Ruggiano the son of Fat Andy? No doubt. Was Fat Andy an upstanding guy? Yes. Fat Andy was an upstanding guy. Ruggiano ratted. Okay? He ratted. He set up his brother-in-law to be murdered.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay? This is so let's get away from this Mr. Good Guy role and this Mr. Gangster role, because you're not. You're not a gangster. You were on the fringes. You could have been a gangster. You could have become a made man, but you had a drug addiction. And and he blew it all out the window. See, here's Sammy. Do you think Sammy would have ever even dealt with a guy like that back in the day?
No, I mean, he even says he didn't want to be. Didn't want to be around drugs or any of that. He wouldn't have been around, Anthony.
Now they all get together and they all know each other. It's an ongoing story. Okay, so basically, this is Batman's looking for his Robin, right? Okay, let's play this first.
Yeah.
It wasn't as close to him as with John, but he was my friend. He always treated me with respect. I always treated him with respect. He always treated my father with respect. My father always treated him with respect. And it was my pleasure to go out there and talk to him. He all he wants to do is help me.
Okay. All Sammy wants to do is help him.
Yeah.
So he helped Chicali. Dominic Chicali, is that he want to help him that way? Screw him over?
Yeah, he doesn't help anyone. It's all for himself. I mean, if you get a little benefit, then that's good. But the thing is, it's all about Sammy. Sammy feels like I have a 560,000 sub. It is not. They need to come to me. I don't need to do anything for them. But it's just a very odd thing. And I think also just the title of this, the way they were talking about, oh, this was the history of the Gambino crime family and all of that. I mean, that was a little bit disingenuous. How's that?
Here's what it said. It said Anthony Ruggiano Jr., son of Gambino Caporogine, Anthony Fat Andy Ruggiano, mafia royalty, involved in gambling, numbers, shylocking, and loan sharkings. Let's not forget that he also set up his brother-in-law to be murdered, please.
Yeah, they didn't include that.
Yeah. And so they're showing this, and they're saying that this guy, Sammy's now treating these guys that he would have never associated with on the street. Wouldn't have gave him a time of day. Probably would have clipped most of them just for being drug addicts. He probably would have clipped them. And now he's trying to, now Sammy's building them up like they were somebody he knew. Didn't he do the same thing with John Alite and Jimmy Calandra? He acted like he knew them.
Yeah, and that's the thing, same thing. And then when you listen to the video, you'll hear that he really didn't know him that well. He couldn't even remember. He's trying to relay a story of saying that him and his father went into the Ravenite in '89 before they got arrested, and that's not true. I don't think he was. I think he was in prison at the time. He were down Florida at the time, and so Fat Andy wasn't really hanging out down there, and so he got confused.
Fat Andy did not get along with John Gotti.
Right.
They were two very powerful men, At that time,
Yeah.
Fat Andy was probably a little more powerful than John Gotti
Yeah.
back in the 70s. So
Yeah.
you know, it's not like they hung out and Andy was going to run in and go, "Hey, John, what you doing?" In life, those are guys that didn't get along in life. So there
Right.
is no bond or relationship there.
Right.
Okay, let's play the rest.
You know, they reached out to me to help me, which I appreciate wholeheartedly. You know, and I have no qualms about seeing him or going on his show. You know, what happened between him and John was between him and John. And listen, he cooperated, Sammy, and I cooperated.
What happened between him and John is between him and John. No, no. This is what Ruggiano doesn't understand. Once you get involved with Sammy, you are involved with somebody that Sammy was the opened the door for all these informants.
Yes,
Would you
he
say
did.
that's pretty much accurate?
That's exactly the case, and maybe you even could go back even before that to John A. Light. But I would say of the maid guy, that would be Sammy, and Sammy's the one that's bringing in all these informants.
John A. Light. How did we get to John A.
Just
Light?
saying he came out a little bit earlier is all. I'm just saying John A. Light
Yeah,
was around, yeah,
John A.
before
Light was a
Sammy.
horrible witness. He was a horrible
Right,
witness.
right. Yeah, I don't think he brought a lot of people in. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's kind of when it started, and then you had Sammy. But what I wanted to say about Sammy, though, is when behind the scenes, people need to understand how Sammy works. So the thing is, if you, let's say, when we were doing a show with Dominic, you know what? Sammy called Dominic. He sent messages. Why are you with this jerk off? Why are you doing this? You're either going to be with Team Sammy or are you going to be with this jerk off? And then the second thing is that when he went to dinner with, and there was a picture of him with Mikey Scars, again, he gets a call, says, "What are you doing with this? You know that I don't like him." And that's when Dominic said, I'll be around who I want to. You don't dictate or tell me who I can hang out with. And so that's where the problem is that Sammy expects, if he's going to do a favor for you, he expects you to be Team Sammy. Everything is Team Sammy, because he feels that he's the Don of social media, which he still goes by that. And so that's where the problem is.
Let's put that up. It says
Yeah.
Sammy the Bull Gravano, Gambino crime family underboss, made in 1976, hits 19. Okay, well, Sammy, you're always saying that you didn't do these hits, that they were ordered by John Gotti, but he makes sure that he gets those in there, though, right?
Yeah, right.
Mafia Wars 3. Okay, was he involved with all the Colombo Wars? I didn't.
No, I think, I think he's trying to say he was involved with. I know he's involved. Well, he wasn't really involved
He was
in those
involved with
wars, kind of.
one Colombo War.
Yeah, one Colombo War, and then he's probably taking credit for the Philly War because he killed Johnny Keys, and then I guess he's considering Castellano that as a war. I don't know, but he's saying three wars.
I don't know. Yeah. That sounds like that. It's another exaggeration by Sammy Gravano.
Yeah.
And his current position, Don of social media. We've already put up the stats, and we proved that he is not the Don of social media. Michael Francis is in this genre. It's not even close. And
no, it's not.
People that Sammy doesn't give people much of anything when it comes to subs and all that. Maybe in the beginning he'll give Ruggiano some subs, but I don't see anything major coming from him. Heck, Jimmy Calandra, who wasn't even in the mob, got me 500 subs. He got FBS 500 subs. He gotten people 1,000 subs. So it's all BS. But if he wants to think that, let him go right ahead. A matter of fact, I would compare Sammy to Batman, and he went out looking for a Robin, and he found him.
Oh goodness! I like that.
So that's Sammy's been looking to find his Robin, and he hasn't been able to find his Robin. He's finally found him. Okay, the last couple people he's had people up for the Robin role. He's had John A. Light up for the Robin role, but basically John A. Light got blown off by Sammy, and then he had Jimmy Calandra up for the Robin role, but I don't think he ever had Jimmy Calandra in the picture. It was obvious he didn't know nothing of him. And then he had Dom Cicali, and then
Right.
Dominic Cicali does not take any crap, and Cicali told him to go F
Nope.
himself. So he put an application out, and Ruggiano said, I want to be Robin. And here he is. He's Robin. So, Batman, you found your Robin. Good luck with
Yeah.
that, guys. Okay.
Yeah. So how's this going to happen with Ruggiano? How's he going to what's going to happen? I mean, he had all these people that have been saying stuff in his comments about why are you with Sammy? You know, you got to watch out for Sammy, all that. And so how's he going to do have the ability to interact? So he's going to be friends to everyone? Is that what it is? I just don't understand. You know,
One
what's
thing
going to
we're going
happen
to learn in
with
this.
Mikey Scars and all that? Yeah.
Look what's happened to me. Look what's happened to me trying to do that crap. You can't do that crap. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't play all sides. It's impossible. You can't have friends on one side and the other side. It just does not work out. You got to decide who you are and where you want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this as a person that's been there and discovered it doesn't work. You know,
Right.
if you're going to be friends with the Gottis, you can't be friends with the Gravanos. There's too
Right.
much horrible stuff that happened between those two families. You just can't
Yeah.
do it. And here's a guy. Now, Ruggiano was never friends with the Gottis. I mean, because he became a rat. But they left him alone. They accepted him. But now he's going to the man that literally put John Gotti away. Well, he was part of the reason John Gotti went away, and he did rat on him. But not only John Gotti, many men. Sammy's
39.
people forget.
Yeah, about 39
Yeah.
different men.
And bosses. You know, not
Bosses.
many big guys. He didn't send tiny guys away. He sent big guys away. And you know, it's something. You look at this picture, and there you go. You got two informants. I mean, that's what you got there. You got what else?
Rated. So as far as that goes, we committed the biggest cardinal sin you could commit in the mob, and that's cooperate with the government.
Look at that picture. That picture's a keeper right there, ain't it? He
Yeah.
looks like he's in heaven. He's like, I'm sitting with Sammy Gravano. Oh my God. And Sammy's like, who's this guy again? And someone
We
please.
need to, between the two videos, we need to count how many times Ruggiano said Sammy. He had to have said it at least a dozen times in each video, in a 1-minute video.
Which him and I did. So, that sort of severs all ties with everybody out there, and I'm glad I went to see Sammy. People are bent up that, how could he go?
Okay. And now we're going to play something else. Okay. This is something we have to remember, people, because this is what defines a man's life. This right here.
Took him to Cafe Liberty, and he was, thinking that he was going to come there and hear about a score. And I took him into Cafe Liberty, and that's where he was shot.
Okay, and the shooter was actually Dominic Pizzonia?
Right, Skinny Dom at the time, right?
Just so people know, Anthony Ruggiano testified against Dom. Dom, so he's still talking about Dom. Dom's still alive. He's free from prison, but he's still talking about a guy that he testified against and just throws him out there like it's nothing.
He wasn't straightened out yet. He was proposed to, like me. He was a proposed member of the Gambino family, and we took him in. And Tony Lee and I took him out into the garden because Tony Lee had a big garden out in the backyard. So we took him out there. Tony Lee picked some tomato plants and put them in a paper bag.
He's also throwing Tony Lee under the bus here.
Yep.
Who's an upstanding gangster, as upstanding as you can get.
From and handed him the paper bag, and then as we walked back in, Tony Lee just grabbed him by the arm and said, "Wait, I want to talk to you." And I kept on walking straight to the front. And when I got straight to the club, I gave Dominic the nod, and Dominic grabbed the pistol and he went back there and he shot him.
So he's saying that he gave Dominic the nod to go murder his brother-in-law. Is that basically right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
See, this is what. See, people, this is what we have to remember what we're dealing with. You know, people say, okay, Ruggiano's he's a nice guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's straightening out his life. But you don't get a free pass. Just because the government gave you a free pass doesn't mean that you didn't do this.
Yeah, I mean that's something that. So the thing was is that he assaulted a family member, I believe the wife of his father, and then they go to and so father's in prison at the time, and anyway, and so the family's doing that as a favor to take out this guy that did that, and so that's the appreciation that he
He threw him
gave
under the
him.
bus.
So threw him under the bus because he didn't want to do the time. He said he wasn't going to. He didn't want part of that life.
So he
So,
decided
but
that it was better that Dominic did the time. But I believe Dominic beat those charges. I'm not sure.
I think so.
So Dominic, so Bisonia had to do his, and just so people know, Dominic was also said to he was put on trial for shooting the Uvas, who were the
Yes.
couple from the movie where they were robbing the social clubs.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
but Dominic, I believe, was found innocent of that too. He was charged with conspiracy to murder for that with the Uvas,
Hmm.
that couple.
Yeah. Yeah. I know he didn't
So
actually on that one. Didn't get it. Yeah.
it's the thing. I mean, you got this guy here. Stop playing Mr. Innocent. There's nothing innocent about what you're doing right now. You have decided to crawl in bed with the worst of the worst, and that's Sammy Gravano. James?
Yeah. I mean that's the thing. I mean, I just feel like it's going to bite him. I think the one good decision he made was put the full video out on his channel so that people will actually be able to see it, and maybe he'll get some benefit of subscribers and views. I mean, and he's getting a lot of views on it, so that's true. But Sammy
Is
would not
Sammy
have
getting
put
a lot
that.
of views or him?
He is because he put it on his own channel. That's what's different about this one. Sammy will not and did not put that video interview out on YouTube. Uh, Anthony Ruggiano put that video out, a copy of it on Anthony Ruggiano's channel.
Okay,
It
let's
never
see.
went
Anthony,
into YouTube for Sammy.
yeah, he's gotten 16,000 on it, and then on the trip, uh, I'm not sure how his views got affected from that. That'd be interesting to know. But you know what? We can always in the future check Social Blade and see that
Yeah, yeah.
what happened there to see what kind of what we put up stats where. And Dominic Cicali said this. He said, "I gained nothing from Sammy. If anything, Sammy
Right.
hurt him." And it's amazing though because he's doubling down after he's heard what Cicali said, after he's heard what A-Light said, after Jimmy A-Light is not even around that circle no more. But we'll see how Sammy treats him. But if Sammy screws him over, which it's going to happen in about a year, talk to us next year at this time and see how that all went.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that he's never really done any other business with them. He'll do an interview and that's about it. And then, I don't see any engagement. But, I know that Ruggiano, I don't know if he's had an interview yet with Michael Francis or if that's something that he wants to do. I mean, I could see that happening. And people have gone
But
on
I
with
can
Michael
see him doing an
Francis.
interview with
Yeah.
Michael Francis. Michael Francis never
Yeah.
did anything to screw the Gottis over, for one, John Gotti. He never
Oh.
did anything to. He has a little hiccup out there that's questionable, Michael Francis.
Yeah.
But not like
Mhm.
these guys. Not like these
No,
guys.
I don't. Not at all.
Big difference. And,
Yeah.
and I can understand someone saying, "Okay, I want to go to Michael Francis. I want to do an interview with him, or vice versa. Have Michael Francis on." But that's as far as it goes.
Right.
But he went to the. I don't even want to talk about where he went, but anyway, he went to
Bat
visit
Cave.
Sammy. Yeah,
In the
he went to
Bat
the Bat Cave. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. We'll go
Yeah.
to Sammy's Bat Cave. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we like to say once again, Robin, we hope it works out with Batman, and we'll see. And with that, is there anything? Oh, let me first before we do that. There's two things I got to put up that I forgot. to put up.
Alrighty.
One is you can go join Angel Gotti, my father's daughter, Patreon link. I'm going to put it below this. It's also going to be in the You can go to Patreon and put Angel Gotti in, and it will pop up. We have a Patreon page. We just released a couple things today. We're releasing another thing, something else tomorrow, and we have some stuff that's being worked on right now with photographs, family videos back from the day of the Gottis that you could never see online. Here, just so you know that. Okay.
Yep, and interviews too. There's some interviews with celebrities and other stuff coming up. So yeah, there's a lot going on the Patreon, and you can join, I believe, for free for the first week. So you can try it out. If
Yes.
you don't like it, you don't have to pay. If you do, then you can.
And please hit the like and reminder bell for this show. If you want to donate to this show, you're more than welcome to. If you can't, we totally understand. Things are rough right now for a lot of people. So,
yes.
But please subscribe, hit the like button and the reminder bell, and hey, reach out to Batman, reach out to Robin. But one thing we learned about watching the Batman movies. You know what they remember? We always learn one thing: Batman always gets a new Robin in the movies. Batman always gets a new Robin in the movie. It ain't like the old days.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's not.
Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay.
I don't think. Yep, okay. There we go.
Anything else that you'd like to say before we shut this down?
No, I'm good. I mean, this was a fun discussion, and I'm sure that there's going to be more coming out on this thing with Batman and Robin.
And we have something planned called the Gravano Crime Family. It's going to be a 2-part series. It's going to be stuff never released, documentation never released, never talked about, inside video. You're going to see stuff that you would never see on here about Sammy Gravano ever in the history of Sammy Gravano's life. We're going to be releasing this stuff in a 2-part series on Sammy Gravano and the Gravano Crime Family, because there's a lot of things that the Gravanos do not want you to know about, but you're going to see stuff that's going to shock you, and you're going to see actual footage also. And this will be coming out. James and I will be doing a 2-part series. Probably the first part probably come out next week. But with that, I'd like to say thank you so much. Please hit the subscribe button and tell us underneath here what you think about Ruggiano. Listen, one thing I know about Ruggiano, I'm sorry, God, man, Ruggiero and Ruggiano, I get those mixed up. I got to stop that. 2 different human beings.
Yeah.
Not even in the same league. So, but one thing we do know is that a lot of people like Ruggiano. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah. He's got a good following, and so people. We'll
get a lot of negative remarks. Yes, we'll get a lot of negative remarks underneath our video, just like last time. He is liked. With that,
90% liked, I would say 90%.
Yes, and we don't mind if you like him. Right down here, honestly, what you're feeling. Do you think that him basically going against Mikey Scars, going against Chikali for this, and he did it? We cannot say it any other way, because Mikey Scars and him been at war over a year now. So we know that he's chosen his side here.
Yeah, he has.
With that, everybody take care, and thank you very much.